That's how you know you did a good steep turn, when you hit your own wake.
Amarillo approach, Lear 146 X-ray Lima, 190, descending 11,000.
Much better.
146 X-ray Lima.
All right, let's go ahead and turn left heading 310.
10 degrees to the left, vector for visual.
And when we level out, let's go ahead and reset the, I saw the directional gyro tumble
6 X-ray Lima.
during our last couple maneuvers.
Yeah. Actually, our
Just give it a
compass is
minute.
going to.
The compass has errors built into it. You'll learn more about that when you're doing instrument stuff.
Okay.
Once it stabilizes, you'll notice it's about 250 at the moment. So go ahead and reset your directional gyro to 250.
Alright. You're right in.
Alright, we'll go ahead and skip the ground reference maneuvers today.
Okay.
Have you remember anything about the emergency procedures discussion we talked about?
The engine failure, yeah. So first thing you do is airspeed. So you pitch up for best rate of climb. Actually, best rate of climb is 62 knots on this aircraft.
Best glide.
Or best glide. Alright, so you pick that, select your landing field.
And that's about 64 knots.
64 knots.
If you don't remember, just check the checklist.
Alright.
Let's go and check the checklist.
826, roger. Cleared for the approach.
Alright.
That's actually 68 knots. My bad.
Oh, okay. Alright. Yep, so airspeed.
Let's go ahead.
And select your landing field.
Go ahead and turn right heading 250, or 260. Alright, so pitch for the best glide.
Right.
Pick your landing field.
Right. And then fuel shut-off valve, verify that it's in.
So it becomes the flow, the same maneuver flow that we do.
Right.
Fuel selector on both.
Both.
Shut-off valve in.
Make sure throttle, make sure your master's on. And then if you have enough time, which we would at this altitude, try to restart the engine. Or if you're in the end model, make sure the carburetor heat's on as well.
No, once you get the flow done, you go to the checklist.
Right. Okay. The fuel selector, make sure rich, throttle vary, and auxiliary fuel pump, make sure it's on.
I think you forgot that. But that's why it's on the checklist. Because we do forget things, and that we are human.
Yeah.
So we have this checklist in place to make sure, if it turned out it was just a simple fuel pump failure, we have that auxiliary fuel pump in this airplane, we can bring the airplane back to life.
Right. And then we'd,
I'd much rather, wouldn't that be embarrassing if you executed the most perfect emergency landing and it turned out the engine would run if you just turned on the pump?
yeah.
It's like, oh, we're okay. We're in a field, the airplane can be recovered, no damage done whatsoever. Turn on the pump, turn on the engine. Ah, son of a bitch.
X-ray Lima, you're number 2 flying T-38, executing the hijack end.
Transponder 7700 and declare emergency for ATC.
Okay. Alright, good. Let's go ahead and give it a try. There's your engine failure.
Engine failure.
So just go ahead and hold your altitude. No need to bleed off. Just let the speed bleed off to 68. 68 now.
So select our field, let's say right over here. Like a pretty good field, nice landing.
How about right there in an airport?
Oh yeah.
Trade winds.
Yeah, we got trade winds right here, so
Alright.
we'll go and rotating over the
Go ahead and
floor.
head right for it.
And then
11066 Lima.
pre-winner follow. Just let your
Approach, Cessna 85 Sierra Pop.
Mixture set.
Approach.
Yes, sir. We're starting to simulate emergency descent into trade winds via the left downwind. Like to go over to CTAF, do a couple touch and goes, and we'll come back to you in a little while.
9 Sierra Papa, roger, wind Amarillo is 210 at the 13, altimeter is 3011. Greater Cirrus Reyes, squawk VFR, change to advisory frequency is approved.
Squawk and maintain VFR, Cessna 9 Sierra Papa, we'll see you on the way out. Pitch for, what's your speed right now?
Almost 100.
Yeah, we want best glide.
Right.
Because here's what we're going to do.
We also want to come down so we can actually do a...
Well, I'll show you what we're going to do. We want to take as much time. We don't want to rush this.
Right.
So first of all, get the airplane trimmed for 68 knots. All right, let go of the controls. We're now trimmed. See how it's accelerating?
Yeah.
Tradewind traffic, Cessna 859 Sierra Papa, high left downwind at 17, simulated emergency descent into trade winds. Anybody else on pattern out here in trade winds? All right, the wind is pushing us away quite a bit, so we're just going to hold this heading right here. Go ahead and complete the checklist.
So transponder would be on 7700.
Good.
We would declare emergency B or whoever we're talking to.
All right, let's keep on turning in. And I'll show you one thing as we get closer, that it's always better to have more altitude, too much altitude than not enough. Because you can always bleed off altitude. All right, let's continue the emergency landing without engine power checklist.
All right. So, seatbelts and seats
secured. I'm good.
Secured. Airspeed will be 70 and then flaps it down. What does it mean by that?
If the flaps were inoperative.
Oh, okay.
But we're going to do flaps down.
Okay. And then doors will be on latch prior to touchdown. Wing flaps as required. Mattress switch off. And then touchdown slightly tail low. So we'll do full back pressure on our wheels.
Okay.
And
let's
then
go
brakes
ahead.
applied heavily.
Let's look up and fly. Tradewind traffic, Cessna 859 Sierra Papa, left base 17, full stop landing, Tradewinds. All right, so we got the airport in sight. Like I said, altitude is a good thing because you can always bleed off altitude. We have flaps available. Let's go ahead and start dropping in flaps. We have slipping available. Go ahead and kick the rudder in. Notice how we increase drag and start coming down faster that way?
All right.
Let's go ahead and put the flaps all the way down. We also have S-turning available.
Oh, yeah.
So at this point, we're fully slipped. Aircraft is configured, and we should be making the runway. All right. I'm sorry. I'm kind of walking you through this a little bit.
Yeah, I got you. Well, I mean, I wouldn't know how to do it anyways.
But I just want to show you that when you're picking a place to land, having extra altitude is much better because there's very little you can do with too little altitude. With this plane, with extra altitude, you can always drop flaps. You can S-turn to use up more area. There's a lot of things you can do to make it a lot easier to make the runway. No. Let's go ahead and do a full stop. Taxi back.
Okay.
That's why I said full stop.
Oh, I gotcha.
I wanted to go and take a moment to debrief it. So let's go ahead and go down to the next intersection. We'll clear the runway and taxi back for ticket. So I did kind of take over that maneuver for you, but I just wanted you to see what kind of options and timing you have available when you're coming in for an emergency land. There does come a point where eventually you got to vacate the checklist and fly the airplane.
Right.
If you have the altitude, then absolutely. Hang on just a sec. Tradewind traffic, Cessna 859 Sierra Papa is clear, runway 17, taxiing back to runway 17, Tradewinds.
Go over there.
All right, so let's go ahead and bring the airplane to a stop and perform our after landing checklist. We'll take a moment to breathe.
Yeah. Because they were bouncing there for a little bit.
Yeah, but that's okay. It's an emergency landing.
Yeah. Alright. Oh, actually, I was on the right page. Alright. So after landing, flaps up. Transponder will be on standby. Do we need a jet standby? Okay.
Yes, sir. And you're off. When you're on the ground, you go ahead and put...
Okay. Strobe lights off. Land latch required, elevator trim, set back for takeoff. And we'll obtain taxi clearance, but this isn't a controlled airport, so.
Yep. All right, let's go ahead and taxi down to the end.
Alright.
This takeoff, we're going to go ahead and do a soft field takeoff.
Okay.
This one I'm going to demonstrate just because you don't really realize what it's supposed to look like until you see it done. Short field, you're kind of applying a lot of your previously learned techniques.
Right.
So remember, the point with this one is to continuously roll with flaps at 10, elevator all the way back. Whenever you're taxiing on a soft surface, you'll always hold the elevator all the way back. Like here, let me, my controls for just a second.
Alright, your controls.
One thing you'll find, if we go off into the dirt here, notice how I keep plenty of power in, keeping the elevator up, holds the nose out of the dirt a little bit, because the nose is the most vulnerable to the problems. Now, by the way, don't mention that we did that.
Yeah.
Coyote has a policy in place about not landing at soft field, so the best we can do is demonstrate a quick little off-road.
Gotcha.
But, yeah, anytime you're taxiing soft field, you're always going to hold that elevator all the way back. Okay, your controls.
Alright, controls. And did we do a forward slip when we came in on there, or?
That was a forward slip.
Okay. I say I'm not.
That's one of the techniques you use to, because you put the body of the airplane into the airstream and creates a whole bunch of drag.
Alright. Yeah, that's another thing I'm not too familiar, I guess, with is the different kinds of slips.
We'll try it on the next approach.
Yeah.
I mean, you've done the crosswind, a side slip, where you are holding the airplane in a slight slip. A forward slip, you're pretty much going full rudder, banking it all the way, and you're just coming down at all kinds of uncoordinated.
All right.
Which, as long as you're at a higher speed and pitched down, it's not really a risk of a stall.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, let's go into bring it to a stop right here. There is no hold short line because the runway is right there.
Very true.
All right, let's run the before takeoff checklist.
Before?
On the page.
Other side. Before takeoff, we'll skip our.
Well, you do everything.
Oh, we still do? Okay.
The only thing you don't do is the run-up.
Oh, okay.
Not required on subsequent left.
Alright, so brakes applied. You'll select your valves on both. We'll shut a valve then. Electro trim.
Oh, you've already checked that. That's another thing you disregard.
Okay.
You know, I should move that down to the run-up portion.
So we still do 1700? Or is that still part of our actual run-up, though?
Well, the mixture we would set for density altitude. Now, it's already set. We haven't messed with it since we set it over there, so we're still good.
Right.
Otherwise, you would do the mixture. But the run-up, it's not required. So all the sub-items to the engine run-up are not required to do.
Oh, yeah, okay. Alright.
That's why I set it up that way.
Oh, gotcha. Alright, so flight instruments. Alright, yeah. So airspeed, gauge 0. Attitude indicator level, or neutral. Our altimeter, I believe is still current.
Yeah, it's close enough.
Yeah. Our turn coordinator, we have fluid in the ball and the red flags. Our directional gyro is a little off. Not too bad.
That thing does like to process quite a bit.
Yeah. Well, yeah, about right there.
More like 055, not 065.
Oh, very true. Right there. Alright, and vert speed showing 0. So flight instruments set. Flaps. Do we need any flaps for a short field?
Yes.
Yes, so we need 10
for soft field.
Soft field.
Yep.
So flaps 10. And doors, windows, seat belts. Still latched. Alright.
Okay. Let's go ahead and brief the soft field takeoff, and I'll demonstrate it.
Yeah.
So brakes. Sorry, that's short field. Soft field. Elevator full aft. Throttle full. Low pressure check normal. Rotate at the slowest practical speed and remain in ground effect. So we pitch up, and then we would rotate forward.
Okay.
As we get to 73 knots, we begin our climb out, and we retract the flap. All right. let's go ahead and put this up here. My controls.
All right, your controls.
All right. So the flaps are set. Trade wind traffic, Cessna 859 Sierra Papa, taking off runway 17, right traffic at trade winds. All right, so we're heading down the runway, elevator full aft. Left's clear. Right's clear so far. And let's go throttle full. Notice how it gets the nose way up there?
Yeah.
We adjust our throttle to keep the nose high.
Yeah.
Now notice how what's going to happen is we're going to get off the ground. But in... Oops, I think I'm hitting the tail. Alright. There's ground effect, but now I pitch down to stay in it.
Alright.
Now as we get up to, we're going to let it accelerate in ground effect to 73 knots. Then we're going to climb out at VY. So as you can see, you don't hold it full aft. It says full aft as applicable because if you go too far back, like I just demonstrated the wrong way to do it.
Yeah, hit the tail.
Yeah, that was the, and luckily it's the securing hook back there that was hitting. It didn't sound like it hit too bad. We'll check it when we land. I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate a short field landing, okay?
Alright.
Alright, so let's go ahead and turn our crosswind. Trade wind traffic, Cessna 859 Sierra Papa, turning right crosswind 17, trade wind. And I'll also demonstrate that forward slip as well, just a little.
Okay.
Delta Stafford, Papa 256 Echo back, 14 miles to the south inbound.
Starting our turn to downwind. Do right there. Notice how the wind's blowing us this way, so this heading actually gets us about the track over the ground that we want, parallel to the runway.